Hi, and welcome to Art Conspiracy. I'm Amy. Gonna do some painting for you today. I did a sketch with one of my classes, and we really explored doing multiple figures, some of them very abstract and very small, in an environment. That's the class, Figures in Environments. And we didn't get to the painting part, so I'm gonna paint for you and share this with them and you. And let me show you our subject. Oops. Uh, Hold on just a second. Okay. Here it is. Here's my thumbnail, and actually, my class didn't even get to see this one. This is my sort of my test, getting ready for the class, and coming up with my plan. And this is a pretty small little thumbnail, about 4 inches high or so. And I'm exploring putting in multiple figures, and you can see that I put the furniture in and then I threw the figures on top, and they're getting smaller as they go back. And the lesson was to put them in size-wise, have them exist in the same space, a little bit of perspective drawing with the furniture and the architectural space of the room. And then also it was to light it, to think about dark and light. So this figure is light against dark, the middle half of the figure, the top half of the torso. And then the light of the couch, and then this figure stands out. This figure is dark against light. These figures are light against dark. So we're really playing with these ideas. So this is the first one, and then let me show you this one we did in class. And it's the same idea of figures in an environment, going back in space. And again, this one has the most contrast because it's in the front, this one too. So this one has light and dark within the figure, but then the dark head against the light background, the dark head against the light background. Here it's the reverse, where it's a little bit lighter against a dark background, a dark head against light. You get the idea. And then these are just little dark condensed figures against a light background. And I remember telling the class that it's much easier to make them, the figures, dark than the background dark, just because it's less real estate to cover. So this is where we got. We also talked about cross hatching and creating some light and dark just with ink, with an ink line. So I'm going to combine these kind of two for you today in this video, and I'm going to redraw this a little bit in pencil, then in ink. I'm going to do a little cross hatching, and then I'm going to paint it, because the challenge is you have a lot of small parts, but you don't want to think small and you don't want to use only a small brush. So I'm going to show you how to work kind of big and then get smaller as you drill down on some of these shapes. So that is the job. All right, so here we go. So here's the size. You can see my hand. Here's how big that thumbnail is. This one is bigger, quite a bit bigger. And I'm gonna kind of do a combination of both of those scenes on this paper. So let me just get started. I have kind of a square I found in both of these. So just so that it will fit here on the screen. I'm gonna do it about this big. Looks good. Okay, so what you want to do is, if you're translating from a thumbnail to a bigger piece of paper, or even if you're just starting from scratch, you want to work light. You want to work light until you get everything on and get it figured out. So I talk about this in some other videos about how to hold a pencil, but you don't want to have that death grip. You want to skate over the drawing, over the surface of the paper until you feel like you got it down. Okay, so in one of the sketches, this figure's in the middle. I'm just going to block her head in there. I'm going to have two figures, so I'm going to work a little bit darker than I would, just so that you can see better. But you can make this just super, super light. Okay, so here's my couch. And I'm gonna work really light, so it might be hard to see even for a little bit while until I get darker. But okay, I'm gonna make this figure in the foreground. Sitting in front, here's the coffee table. And I put this plant in here really mostly just to have something in the space between this figure and the coffee table and then the people back here. They got some knees. Really gonna just play with this information and work fairly quickly so you get to the fun stuff. Okay, here's a pillow. I mean, it doesn't matter that I have a pillow, but I'm breaking this just straight linear line by adding a little pillow. A little diagonal, a little perspective. Here's the couch. Okay. And okay, pretty good. These look like they're in pretty good shape. I'm going to put this guy's arm up on the couch. There we go. Don't need a lot of features of the face. Need just some indication. Made that line a little bit too dark. It's okay. Fix that later. So you're sitting here, they're on a date. So, okay. And then back here, I like these guys. They're looking at this work of art. And I'm making the egghead smaller than this guy because it's further away. So that's part of how I determine the size of the figures in space. So these guys are standing back here looking at this painting. Make it a cheesy landscape painting. There we go. Sort of a forest with water. Next, going up here. There we go. This has got some hair. Just a little bit of detail. And then I have the floor plane. Here's my carpet. And I say my floor might end up here. Maybe a little further up. And then I have this doorway. Clock over here. Jump around. I keep moving. I keep moving around. That's the part of the key to it. Okay, and then here we go. This floor is for even further back. See that perspective. And then you might have a figure here in this doorway. How big would that figure be? The head's going to be a lot smaller than this. There we go. And then we're just play with proportions. Got the top of the head, the bottom of the feet. Here's the pelvis. So here's this figure standing here, looking into the scene. Maybe I'll have him leaning on the door. Got an attitude. Okay, good. And then I have like table back here, maybe. Here's somebody else, even a little bit smaller. They're doing something back here. We don't need to know. Here's another person. Maybe we got a window. Another kind of object. Okay, good. So there's my drawing. And then I'm gonna switch to ink right now. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of, well, I'll leave it big, but I'm gonna zoom in a minute. But now I'm going to establish my light source, which I'm going to say is coming from the right. So now I'm going to put my line and I'll put it on the left-hand side, so on the other side of the light. And I take the line as an opportunity, not to just go over the pencil, but to do something different, to do something even more interesting. Like she's just a little swoop. I might say, oh, I want her arm to be out a little bit. So I'm just making things a little bit more interesting as I go along. Okay, I'm skimming over. This can be pretty soft. It's kind of a painting in there. Here, this guy, all I need is a little tiny speck that is his nose. And I'm going to zoom in here and you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. I need to work on this guy's face. He's got some serious issues. I think I need a new pen too. Anyway, here we go. Working it, working it. Got some knees. Maybe her little foot shows up over here. Got some crazy table legs. Here's the back of the neck. So I'm letting my pen dance around, just like I did with my pencil. Again, revising as I go. So that's a window, clock. Got clocks all over the place. Look at this. I got 3 circles. I've got a circle here, got a circle here, got a circle here. I'm going for it. It's good to look for connections and relationships. Got flowers, a plant anyway. My coffee table, couch. Okay, let me get another pen. I'll be right back. Okay, I just changed pens and I also changed devices, which was kind of interesting. I was using my iPad and my image was kind of blurry and I switched to my phone and it's way better. So that's kind of cool to know. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to come in with a little bit more ink and I'm just kind of checking out these guys. I think their legs need to be up a little bit higher. Give this a little bit of space. There we go. I think they're on a date. I'm going to keep it really simple. Get the idea. And then I'm going to do a little bit of cross hatching. So I'm going to come in kind of tight and just show you how I might do this. So the light again is coming from this side. So I want the top of the seat to be light. So I'm going to make this side a little bit darker. So I just basically make lines close together and it gives the illusion or the feeling of a dark edge. Let's say this I want to be really dark. So I might do extra, I might change direction. And then I'm going to reinforce this with paint. But even my chair, my table leg, or excuse me, my couch leg here, I might make it dark at the bottom and then just feather up and go up. So it ends up dark here, which is kind of interesting. Here's the equivalent over here. So I make that dark. So now I have 3 darks. I have dark here, dark here, dark here. Now I start to play with where I want to put my darks. So this guy's going to have dark hair. Just kind of scratching it in. Here we go. Got this ear. I'm going to have to erase a little bit of pencil. His nose looks huge. Here we go. Little dark to define her face. And I do that with her hair, which is, I often draw the thing next to it to define it. Okay, here we go. I might have a little dark under here. And again, it's for the purpose of making his arm show up. So I made that dark under there. And I might pick up a little bit more over here. And you know, it's not necessarily logical. There's some logic involved in knowing the light sources from the right, but some of this is just making things show up. Okay, so here with this tabletop, let's see, or the tabletop, I'm going to do this a little bit darker under the table so that we really see the tabletop. And I did it dark here on the side, and then I jumped and I did it dark there. And is anybody going to notice that I didn't fill that in? I don't think so. So you can just be really playful with your inked line. Okay, and then let's say I want him to show up a little bit more, his face, so I'm going to make it dark here on the other side. Now his head is really coming forward or really showing up, right? Okay, and then we got my little pillow. I'm going to put dark next to it. Now the flowers are kind of showing up. I might make that a little bit dark just to add a little interest. Okay. I think you get the idea. Back here, I'm going to make the side of his head darker. Make the side of her head darker. Maybe do a little bit of mark making in the landscape. And you can see the marks for my landscape are horizontal. His head, they are diagonal. So you kind of change the directions of your marks. Sometimes they're spaced further apart. Sometimes they come closer together. All depends on what you're trying to do. And we can let these guys stay pretty light. We'll let the paint really do it. So I put a little bit of shading, but I don't think I need a whole lot right there to make that show up. I might do a little baseboard action here. And again, I got darker as I'm coming into the composition. So the action all stays within my square pretty good. Okay, I think I'm ready to paint. Oh, the other thing too is now at this point, I can erase some of my pencil line if I want to. Just the line that really bothers me, I don't want to clean it up too much. Because I find that if I erase all my pencil now and all I have left is ink, it looks really sterile to me and I don't like it. So I'm just going to get rid of what I really have to. Like the only thing left of her face is just that little nose. I got rid of the whole edge of her face, which is totally fine. I can put that back in with ink. So any sort of searching lines that cross or where I change my mind, like here, you can see the couch through the pillow, right? So that I get rid of. Not that anybody would object, but it's that sort of thing that you want to erase. Structural lines or just things that show a little bit of the search that you don't want to be in the final product. So there you go. Okay. All right, I need to get my paints ready. Be right back. Okay, I spritzed my watercolors. I'm ready to go. And I just want to tell you, I have no idea what's about to happen. I've never done this before. And it's all part of the fun, if you ask me. Like, you're on the ride with me. We're just going to see what the heck happens. Okay, so one of the things that I said in the beginning was I don't want to get small. I don't want to come in with little teeny tiny brushes and like fill in the pillow and fill in the person. Like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to work pretty macro. In fact, look at this sucker. I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to start with this brush. So what I want to do is have kind of a base. A base color throughout this living room. And then I'm going to be working a little bit wet on wet. So I'm going to use sepia, which I love. It's like a nice warm, but a dark. So look at this. I'm just going to go for it, guys. Wow. Now I'm going dark here because I know I want this light because my people are going to be kind of dark back there. So I am ballparking, bump, 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 ba-da-da-da. Look at this. I'm just adding a nice texture. I can blot this. It's even lighter. Man, I haven't made any huge commitment here. No problem. Okay, just do the floor. We'll just do the same damn color. Back here. So we're just giving ourselves a base color. Being really, look at that. Oh my gosh, that's great. Now, when I blot this, I'm making kind of a texture. I'm also getting rid of a lot of water. So my paper is slightly damp. So if I do want to come in with some variation, right now it's going to be soft. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to get some darker edges. Let's say under the table it's going to be sort of a shadow shape. It's still going to be relatively soft because my paper is a little bit wet. So that's great. That's what I want. So I can add a little bit of variation. Okay. And I can even encourage it to move a little bit more, add a little bit more water. And then I get that soft kind of watercolor smokiness that I want. Yeah, good. And down here too, I may say, oh, okay, I want this to be soft. Maybe that shadow goes over to the left as well, okay? Maybe I want something back here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take a small brush and I'm going to add a little bit of flesh color. I'm using burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is a great flesh tone, standard flesh tone. Here we go. Let's see. I'm going to blot that right away, then get a little darker. Just add a little bit of warmth to my people. It's great. Already got some color going. Here we go. Say this guy's not got t-shirt on. Like my tissue. Not exactly an eraser, but it definitely lets you go back a step if you want to. Let's make her a brunette. Or actually, it looks kind of like a redhead. Get a little bit more brown here. There we go. Just adding some color. Whoa. Oh yeah. Got some moving around, some puddling. Okay, since I got my little brush, I'm gonna just make something really vivid. I'm gonna make her red. Oh yeah, look at this. So much fun. Not being careful. There's her knees. Here she is. She's sitting there, she's on her date. Maybe I'll blot a little bit just to give some extra texture. Make her a little bit light. Oh, look at that. I just wiped out her face. No problem. Just gonna wet it really fast. All right. Could be a disaster. Disaster in the making. I don't think so. Maybe put in some red flowers here while I'm at it. Okay, I can totally fix that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. Okay, I'm going to put some more dark. Let's see, her hair is dark. I'll just run right up into his. There we go. And then I want to do a little bit of soft kind of counter space back here. Good. Maybe put some dark in these figures while I'm at it. I want this guy light because they're against the window. Okay, good. Let me pick up another sort of a bright color. I'm going to pick a nice Prussian blue. Whoa, indigo. Working in the dark a little bit over here. Can't really see that. But this is a nice intense blue, which I am definitely going to blot because it's really strong color. Wet it again, I re-wet it. It's going to get even lighter. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's great. It's got a little bit of soft light and dark. Maybe you get a little violet. So I'm adding colors, but I've got this nice base, this nice warm base of my sepia that now I can work with. And I'm going to make the couch, I think I'll make the couch the same color. So I'm going to go in here and wow. Now I got to be a little bit careful. And I'm starting to work around some things, but not too much. And remember that your paint is going to dry lighter. Now this brown hair is wet, very wet, so I got to be really a little bit more careful with it. There we go. And if I want this couch, my brush is almost out of paint, so it's lighter. So I want that couch cushion seat to be lighter. There we go. Look at that. Good, 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 good. And then this guy's pants are going to be dark too. Same, I'm going to use the same doggone color. So that's sepia. So even though I'm working small parts, they're unified by the fact that I'm using a similar tone in a lot of places. And then I can modify as I go along, okay? I mean, I can always think, okay, if I say I want to make this guy have a little red, I just drop that in there. Give him a little personality, okay? Maybe this is redhead. This is a girl back here. Look at that. Just give her a bouffon. I'm going to get some more of my blue. I got that nice blue pillow. So say I'm going to make my clock. Here we go. Or maybe I can make this a light blue. My people are still going to stand out. You can see that some of that red from his shirt ran into the wall, but I don't mind. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. And just to see how it's standing out, that's a little bit darker than anything else. So I can try to mop that up, or I can say, oh, I'm going to put it somewhere else too. And then it looks like I did it on purpose. Good. Okay, I have a little bit of blue. So I'm going to add a little bit of green. Again, I don't mind being a little bit more colorful because my palette is so neutral. So I'm going to put my forest colors in here. Oh, yeah. Looking at this painting. Then I think we need a little blue of the sky. I picked a different blue than the kitchen, and I'm going to let it run into the green a little bit. It's really fun when you give yourself permission to let the paint interact. Just do something that you don't expect. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. Now, if I want the sky to be a little bit lighter, rather than blot it out with my tissue, I might just take a brush I call it a thirsty brush. Look at this. And I'm picking up some of that paint with my brush. See that? And I can even put a little bit of water on there, pat it dry. So I'm wetting it even more. And then blot it. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I need to add some more blue back in. But that's the idea. This guy definitely needs to be darker. Gotta be careful, it's all wet here. Not too careful though. There we go, that's good enough. Let's see. Get rid of a little bit of this green. Okay, good. Okay, I think I need to make this guy a color. It's kind of lagging behind. And there's maybe a little bit of underneath of the arm here where that floor would show through. Let's just see this. Sort of crafting out the body here, just suggesting maybe the way this person's sitting. You don't have to be too specific. In fact, I'll just kind of make this almost blend in with the floor. And then you got to kind of imagine maybe where the legs are. Soften that out, a little smokiness. Righty, we're getting there, getting pretty close. Okay, I'm gonna go with I'll go with the blue. I have another blue. So I got blue here, blue, blue. So I'm kind of orchestrating my colors. That's how I like to think of it. And here I'm going to do something different. I'm going to lay down pretty heavy bead of paint or edge of paint. Then I'm going to clean off my brush. So all I have is clean water. And I'm just going to wet this side and sort of pull this paint over. So I get a softer blue edge. So I'm creating the light to dark. So it's a little bit subtle. And I do think I need to sort of indicate where this body is. So I'm going to put in some dark paint. Just to show where this person's sitting. I don't know, where is that leg? Up here maybe? Yeah, it's good. Power of suggestion. I don't know about that, but going with it. Maybe a little bit here. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do, other than, I just saw something else, I want to put some more green in here. Pretty light and soft, just a suggestion. Here we go, it's nice. Okay, so a couple things. One, I want to add just a tiny, tiny, very thin touch of blue. It almost like these guys are wearing white, but you can't just leave it completely white or it just looks like it's unfinished. So I'm just going to put a little tiny, almost stain of super light blue. Anything that looks white now is getting just a little bit of a stain. So this guy's arm, part of his chest, and I can leave a lot of it white. Okay, and even the coffee table might have a little bit of stain on it. So then it looks like I meant to do what I did. And then lastly, I'm going to add just some blue in that sky. Again, just a stain. Let that stay light. That's good. This is pretty good. Oh, okay. And then I got a situation here. Got a situation, which, you know, I could probably live with it the way it is, but I'm going to just do a tiny bit of white out. I'm going to reintroduce her little face. Look at that. And then, so it doesn't look like a mistake, I'm going to do his little side of his face a little bit too. There we go. And then I can color this too when I'm done. Okay, I made his ear light, and I might do a little bit of her hand there. Good. I mean, this whiteout is great. And then if I want to, I can do all kinds of stuff with it. I can make this sun a little bit more solid. I can put light around the clock. Basically draw with this. It's my favorite little secret weapon. And then you can color it with marker too. Anyway, so you can see I kind of resolved this. Now it is a little bit red in between them, but I don't care. But if I did care, I could come in with colored pencil. I could come in with a white marker. I could just do all kinds of modifications, but I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is absolutely fine and quick. So that's it. That's it, students. And I hope you enjoyed the demo. Like I said, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm good. So thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. And I will talk to you soon. Okay. Bye from our conspiracy.